Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the IWC Radio podcast. I almost beat the end of the video there. Joining me this evening, Chucks and Will, as always. How you guys doing?
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good.
Can't complain.
Yeah. I was gonna say something about something about this week, but I just realized I haven't watched WWE in for ages. Extreme Rules is the last thing that we saw, or at least I saw, aside from Dynamite. But yeah,
Yeah, I skipped through Raw and I haven't seen SmackDown, so.
I haven't seen SmackDown. Well, they were supposedly like a bar fight, which got
was a bar fight.
Which got moved from the pay-per-view onto the show that nobody watches. I can say that because apparently the ratings have hit like an all-time low for Raw or something like that. Like every week I'm hearing stuff that's like, the show's hit a new low. And AEW apparently smoked them this week by about 100,000 viewers.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Raw is terrible at the minute. It really is.
Well, great start to the show here, let me tell you.
There's just nothing happening though. I mean, I watched the last two weeks Raw.
Yeah.
Pretty much back to back because I was a bit behind.
Wow, that's a slog.
Well, it was. I needed a shave afterwards, but I couldn't tell you a thing that happened because there was nothing with any noteworthy. Any kind of importance. Nothing that you wouldn't, obviously you're going to see X wrestler and Y wrestler and, nothing that you wouldn't not expect to happen. So,
that's basically it. They had, so you watched the last two Raws, so the pay-per-view was in the middle of those.
Yeah,
so on the first
I kind
Raw,
of messed myself up. I ended up watching an hour of Extreme Rules live, which I didn't intend to do, but I did.
Yeah.
And then caught up with the rest of Raw from the week before, and it's all very confusing.
I bet it didn't make any less sense than it should.
It didn't really, no.
So the first Raw you watched would have had McIntyre and Ziggler setting up their match, where Ziggler refuses to say what the stipulation's going to be.
Yeah.
And then the second Raw will have Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler setting up a match where Drew McIntyre won't say what the stipulation's going to be.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's some... If that's not a reason to watch that pay-per-view in the middle, I don't know what is.
Well, to be honest, I thought Extreme Rules, despite the silly name and the ridiculous stipulations in some matches, I didn't think it was that bad. Overall.
It was 2.5 hours. I was okay.
Compared to, I suppose I was kind of coming in with a low expectation, having seen the last week's Raw. But, yeah, I didn't think it was that bad.
Should we get into the prediction?
They've done a lot worse, put it that way. Yeah.
All right. I don't have the music ready here just yet, but throw the classic up there. There we go.
That fan, though.
Oh, do you hear the fan? I'm sorry. Hold on.
Yeah, is it still hot over there?
Yeah, yesterday was actually pretty cool. Hold on. Let me turn this off. Hold on.
Wow. How far away is this fan?
Just injured himself.
Alright. Now we got the wire stuck. Oh, man, why didn't you say anything before?
Oh, no.
When I came back.
Yeah,
because you came back and we basically started.
Yeah.
Didn't have much of a chance.
She'd been like, oh wait, the fan's blowing.
It.
Yeah. There we go. Alright. There we are. Okay, there's the predictions from last week. We did get Beans' input finally on some of these.
Did.
So. You see him?
Oh, right.
Yeah, he didn't leave much time.
No.
He left it right until the last minute.
That's right, I saw the tweet last minute,
Speaking of last minute, there was also another bonus match added for the pre-show.
There was.
Kevin Owens versus Murphy, which I didn't see.
Me
I don't know
neither.
if either of you guys.
No.
Well, Kevin Owens won it apparently. that's all I know. So first match of the night, and it's points all round except for you, Beans. You went for Murphy.
Did he? I thought it was me. I went for Murphy.
Oh, did I say Beans? Yeah, it was you. I meant you.
Okay. Hey, I thought, I thought he was going to win. Owens hasn't been seen for a while,
Mm-hmm. It's Murphy, though.
Yeah.
He never wins anything.
Apparently.
Where's the other guy? Where's Austin Theory?
That's a good question. He might have been, COVID or something, quarantining as well. He might have been one of those talents.
The report was they didn't like him.
Didn't like him.
Or that. That's also a possibility.
I'm pretty sure I read that somewhere. He was one of the new guys that Heyman brought up that they didn't like when they sacked Heyman. So.
I mean that is a theory. That's an Austin theory.
A theory.
That's a theory.
Yes.
Okay. So that's one match done, with nothing to say about it. We started the main show with a tag team title change. New tag champions. Cizamura. New Day went through tables. Kofi went through tables. We all predicted that one. Beans loses a point on New Day.
Good.
Good. Decent enough match, I thought. It's always fun to see a tables match. It's been a little while.
That last spot with thing going through the table, that was a hit.
Oh yeah.
No getting away from that.
I'm always a fan of the double-decker table spot.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it was a decent enough opener. Good match.
And the story coming out of this one is that Kofi is now out for 6 weeks. Xavier Woods is still out, so Big E is going solo.
Yeah, I saw something about how there's possibility of breaking up the New Day or something like that, and it just seems like the usual WWE formula of okay, here's a popular tag team group, stable, whatever, and then out of the blue they have to break them up.
To be fair to them, they went through a stage of doing that. So they were splitting every team up that they had.
Yeah.
And touch wood, they've avoided doing it with New Day up to now. So.
And if they were to do it, they've been together now exactly 6 years. I say exactly 6 years last Tuesday, but it's close enough. That's impressive. I can't remember the last act in WWE that's lasted that long. Randy
Especially
Orton,
when
he hasn't changed for 20 years.
Yeah. Especially when you consider that when they first came in, they were hated.
Yeah, that was so bad.
But yeah, it's kind of been rumoured the last couple of years, isn't it? They're gonna split them up.
Keeps happening, isn't it? And then they just don't, and it's fine. They're still totally fine together.
Yeah.
Even now, I don't see the need to split them up. Have Big E do his thing the same way that Kofi did. Maybe they get back together at the end. Maybe there's some kind of change, whatever.
I wouldn't do it now anyway. If they're gonna, they're gonna do it eventually. You've got to think. Maybe they don't, but you imagine.
I don't see why they can't just be friends.
Yeah,
I like seeing these guys being friends. It's fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'd be quite happy with them stay.
I also don't think the WWE has the foresight of, okay, we broke this team up, now what? And
they don't have that foresight.
Yeah, and then coming up with I don't know, something that would help elevate each individual part of that group, kind of like with the Shield. No. So, I think the New Day should just stay as a group for right now. If not forever.
Also, if they are going to do it, and I'd wait till we've got a crowd again.
Yeah.
Because that moment when someone turns on someone else is going to be pretty big, especially with they've been together that long.
Yeah. And a moment like that definitely deserves a crowd.
Yeah.
For that reaction. I agree.
And I just hope they don't do the same thing they always do, where one of them says, "You two were holding me back. I never liked you." You know, some kind of resentment going on.
Well, the perfect time would have been Kofi going for the title, wouldn't it? Kofi said,
"You're probably right. That would have been a good time for someone to get jealous. But I much prefer the two guys just being happy for him."
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Why can't anyone in wrestling just have friends?
Yeah, everyone hates each other.
Everyone hates each other. And then at some point they'll just be friends backstage because it's convenient, and then they just won't be again. Remember, like a little while ago, Braun Strowman, Baron Corbin, and like Bobby Lashley, I think it was, they were all just a unit for a while. And then they just went. Was it Drew McIntyre? I think it was the four of them. There were three of those four anyway.
I remember
they were all heels and they were on Raw and they were just always used to hang out together.
Yeah, I remember McIntyre and Corbin. Well, McIntyre, sorry. Ziggler and Corbin.
Oh, Ziggler and Corbin, yeah. That was Ziggler and, was it Cesaro? No, it was Nakamura and Cesaro, right?
That's right, yeah.
As well. Yeah. And now they're gone. They just went off with Sami Zayn for a while, and now what the hell?
Yeah.
What's about? Just gets forgotten.
Why have we got to break everybody up?
Exactly.
No idea.
Maybe they won't. Okay, maybe they'll carry on forever.
Yeah,
although, now thinking about it, I'm in two minds. It would be good to see them carry on for a while, but I wouldn't mind seeing how big he would do on his own.
They can do both. He can do his thing on his own and not have to, friendship ended with these guys.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah,
be fine.
I thought
that. You didn't think of it because, that's the way it's always done.
Yeah,
you can't just do your own thing. You have to attack the other guys with the chair from behind. It's the only way to go and do your own thing. You have to burn every bridge.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind to give Big E a title run, actually.
Yeah.
He was pretty good in his early days in NXT. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
Then we had Bayley beating Nikki Cross for the SmackDown Women's title. This was points all round except for me. I thought we were going to have both belts off the tag champions. Turns out I was mistaken. Points for you three for Bayley.
Cool.
You guys have gone all quiet on my end. What's going on here?
Oh, sorry. You don't have that fan now. That's the...
No, yeah.
That's the issue.
Strange, you just fell down a hole.
Oh!
Still a better sound than the horror show scream.
Yeah, I finally heard that we were talking about.
I only picked up on it when I was watching the show live. It's every time they cut between something.
Oh! Yeah. The growl definitely sounded like from Zombies Ate My Neighbors, though. I remember
that. Okay, so Bayley still the champion. She's going to be champion forever. SmackDown. Yeah. We then had the Eye for an Eye, the first of the horror show segments. So this match ends when one of the wrestlers takes the eye out of the other. I don't know how Seth Rollins managed to turn his normal finisher that he's been doing for years, about 8 years now, and make it somehow does he stamp on a different bit of head to pop an eye out, or I don't know. He hit him with a stomp anyway, and then Rey Mysterio's eye just fell out.
That's not the finish I saw. He's like he
jammed it into the step again, right?
Yeah.
Well, he did that before as well, and his eye didn't come out.
Well, it was a poor spot because it didn't make any sense because he was just rubbing the face on the steel steps, and as you said, the eye didn't come out before. Only this time, there was a horrible, poorly seen prosthetic.
Yeah.
They really didn't. They showed it for about half a second. It was like,
they showed it and then they realised it was shite.
That's the only bit of footage they could use.
Yeah. Then,
and despite being in a match where both guys knew they had to try and take the eye out of the other guy, Rollins rubs Mysterio's eye against the corner of the steps, turns around for a second, and then is shocked to see that the eye has come out.
Yeah, and he starts.
He can't believe it. He pukes out. Yeah, and all of the fans or the trainees or whoever they're furious that he could dare take Rey Mysterio's eye out.
Yeah.
It's just not his fault. He didn't choose the match.
Also,
this is what he had to do.
Also, the last thing I would want if my eye was like hanging out of my head is probably anything touching it, let alone a towel.
Yeah.
A towel or your own wrestling gloves.
That too, yeah. Especially during a pandemic. Yeah, this was not good. This was awful. The match itself, pretty fucking great. The finish, completely stupid.
Actually. Really good match. Actually, it was ruined by whatever happened afterwards.
Yeah, and that's coming from me. I don't praise Mysterio matches that often nowadays because they're usually formulaic and boring. But like, this was actually a really good match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
now we're supposed to hate Seth Rollins because he didn't want his own eye to be taken out, I guess, and he did what he had to do to win a match.
I don't know.
Also, I don't think a pair of pliers is the best tool for taking out an eye.
Or a kendo stick, or the rebar.
Yeah, none of this is good for taking the eye out. It's probably just going to bruise things up and make it swell shut. It's going to make things harder.
A good spoon is what you need.
Like a spoon, I think. I mentioned like a melon ball there last week, or an ice cream scoop. You know, something that can really get in there.
Yeah.
Or even like a screwdriver. You know, something you can just slide in.
Yeah.
A flat one.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, flat
one. Flathead.
Flathead.
Somebody pointed out, there was some tweet that said like something about Samoa Joe saying it's out, and then followed by puking noises. That is something unheard of in wrestling usually, but more so in porn, I think.
Puking noises.
Yeah.
If that's your thing, I guess.
That's a specialist kind of porn.
Yeah. I can't remember it, but yeah, it was something along those lines. But yeah, Beans gets a point, by the way. He somehow saw this coming.
You know who didn't see it coming?
Yeah, he didn't.
Rey Mysterio. Yeah, so I think that thing about him being on a part-time contract or expired contract or whatever, that's a thing.
Yeah. And he didn't show up on Dynamite, sadly. I was hoping.
Not yet.
Well, he has to wait for his eye to heal up, right?
Oh my
god. Asuka versus Sasha Banks ended in a no contest when there was just a mess at the end.
Yeah, oh god, speaking of a lousy finish.
Yeah.
This is where I fell asleep watching it live. I have seen it.
Lucky you.
Oh man, I totally forgot the other thing. the other thing, earlier on in the night, MVP just decided that he was the new champion.
Oh yeah.
So we had MVP versus
match,
Apollo Crews lined up. Crews couldn't make it because of an injury,
a physical or something like that, which sounds like code word for COVID.
Yeah. So MVP declares himself the champion. Officially, the match just didn't happen. So we have to rule that one out.
Good.
This one also no finish. When did Bailey bump the ref and then tried to be the referee herself and counted?
I think it was Asuka blew the poison mist.
Oh, that's right, the mist. Yeah.
Which, again, still in a pandemic, that's probably not the wisest thing to do right now.
Yeah.
Poison mist on the ref. Ref couldn't see. Then Bailey gets in the ring, unrobes the shirt, and makes the 3 count and declares Sasha the winner when that's not how things work.
It's not how any of this works.
I would love it if it was, but no, that's not how it works.
So officially that's a no contest as well. .com says the women's title match ends in controversy.
Okay,
well. We're not giving points for that one either. Although the match did happen. So yes. I guess we count that as no points for anyone. The title match at WWE Championship here. Dolph Ziggler announces the stipulation will be one that I actually think we called. Someone definitely said something very similar to this last week. That it was a hardcore match for Ziggler, but not for McIntyre.
Sack in the deck or whatever, yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure someone said a Ziggler can use a chair or something like that.
Maybe. I don't know.
It wasn't me, I said cage.
I went with ladder.
Oh, really? I went for handicap.
Yeah.
I'm sure someone mentioned it, though. I want to give someone credit for this. But he lost anyway. There you go. Drew McIntyre wins with the Cena finish. He was getting beaten up. And just as Ziggler was about to hit him again, he kicked up straight into the kick, wins out of nowhere. It's one of those frustrating Cena finishes.
Yeah.
Circa 2009. So McIntyre's still your champion, and this feud must continue for some reason.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna change the title until we get a crowd back.
No. I think you're probably right.
Which could be a long time, too.
He probably will be. Gonna break some records. That is points for everyone. Yes, that's nice. And then the main event is the Wyatt Swamp fight. Does anyone have any thoughts on this one?
No joke. I turned the show off after McIntyre and Ziggler. I completely forgot about the Swamp fight, so I had to rush to turn it back on. I was like, "Oh, right, this thing." Yeah, this was more, instead of a fight, it was more like talking swamp.
Yeah.
Than anything.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of fighting going on.
Apparently Bray Wyatt has cloning powers or something.
How did he chain him up? The start, Strowman was just chained up.
I don't remember. Might have used the duh thing.
The duh.
Yeah, like that, exactly.
Correct. There you go.
Huh.
Correct.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah, this was dumb. This was a dumb match, a dumb thing. I just remember Strowman throwing a rocking chair at a sign. He enters the encampment, which, I mean, the Wyatt Reserve looks pretty spiffy nowadays with all the Christmas lights strung up and the tent and whatnot. They lost me with all the, like I said, all the talking and interrogating on Strowman there. There was some stuntman that got set on fire, which was interesting.
Yeah.
We don't know who that guy was or why he didn't have a mask on.
Well, there was two guys that jumped Strowman, and they were dressed like Luke Harper and Eric Rowan.
Yeah.
But they never showed their faces. It was almost like they were trying to do like a fake Razor and Diesel thing.
Yeah.
And then this other guy who was just just some dude with, I guess, a flame suit on, rolls over into a pit of fire that happened to be there, and then just runs away. Strowman laughs.
Yeah, it was dumb.
And then we had the ghost of Alexa Bliss, who isn't dead.
I mean, I don't know what that was about, but I love the fact that they brought up the mixed match challenge.
Yeah.
Which probably has to be the most continuous thing that they've ever did from that 2-season show to apply it to mainstream television. Like I was blown away. I was like, you know what, this works.
I'm so happy with it. They actually made it a thing.
And then there was like a non-dilapidated boat, and
yeah, the boat that just ran away. That's
a
weird one.
Eventually, they're in a swamp, and then they're fighting amongst the lily pads, and
and they showed the little copyright thing at the bottom.
Oh yeah,
the show was over when they both fell into the river.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't over. It's a false finish.
Yeah. My fans are out of time.
Never saw that.
Yeah, they threw it up a little bit early. I remember they did that on the NXT when Kevin Owens debuted. They threw the thing up just when Sami Zayn won the belt, and then he hit he attacked him afterwards. So it's like, you think it's all over, you think you're safe, and then they go.
The last time I remember them doing that was when Hogan drove the truck into the ambulance with the Rock in it.
Oh yeah.
All them years ago.
Yeah.
There's a
years ago.
random reference for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they still did things like that. It's kind of clever when they do that.
Yeah, and then like it seemed like Wyatt got him into the swamp, and they're both like drowning or whatever. And then next thing you saw was Wyatt come out for a brief moment, and then the water turns to lava, and then it's actually the Fiend.
Yeah, the water turned into lava.
Yeah.
So I guess they're both just dead then.
I guess, yeah.
Just a bubbling lava pool. And I guess it was a lava lake of reincarnation, because yeah, the Fiend is back.
Did he ever go anywhere? There's a question.
No.
I haven't seen him for a little while. Guess he's back. Where is the demon? Finn Balor hasn't been the demon for about 3 years now.
That's a good point. Mm.
Something they can do. Apparently that means that Wyatt won the match.
Yeah.
I don't really know why.
Or how.
Yeah. But apparently he did. That's the official ruling. The Fiend Bray Wyatt resurfaces in bizarre swamp fight, is what they say. Quickly became enraged. Let's see if I can find any kind of explanation. Next, he found a small captainless boat, but he was suddenly blindsided by Wyatt. Strowman fought him off, seemingly for good. That was until Wyatt re-emerged from the depths of the swamp, attacking Strowman with the mandible claw and pulling him underneath the water with him. Moments later, only the Fiend Bray Wyatt resurfaced with no sign of Strowman. I guess that means he won. So that's points for everyone except for Beans. He went for Strowman. So after that show, 2.5 hours, it was a good time. Could do without the screams for every transition. It's fine. It's over now. We end up with the scores of... It's a 3-way tie for second. On 4 out of 7 matches predicted. Me, Smoot Beans, behind Will on 7. Nailed it. He only missed out on Mysterio, and you went with... the Sasha Banks one. We all got screwed on that one. I actually played a blind. Which means overall, and if it wasn't for that pre-show match being added, it would be a 4-way tie. Smoot in second on 13 points. out of 20 overall. Everyone else, me, Beans, Will, all on 14. I don't know if we've ever had a three-way tie at the top before.
Might be history in the making here.
That's big. Big people.
She's out the window. Sorry.
That's all right.
Yeah, three-way tie.
Three-way tie.
All right.
Speaking of history going out the window, here's a tenuous link. TNA at one point were on a really good network. They were on Spike, and they were doing quite well. And then they weren't on Spike anymore. They went to Destination America, whatever that is. And then they weren't even on Destination America anymore. They were on Pop TV. Right? I'm sure you remember this this series of events.
Yeah,
as we had a little theme tune around it. Apparently in Italy now, after the UK definitely, and I believe Germany, Sky in Italy have also now kicked WWE off.
Yeah.
And WWE are now on the Discovery Channel.
Oh.
Nice.
Oh.
Yeah.
My God, that's how the
Sky
mighty have fallen.
Yeah, exactly. They've kicked WWE off, and they've picked up AEW in its place.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Not because they expect the ratings to be any better, but because it's cheaper and works out as a better deal for them.
It's incredible. Again, part of it is I think AEW's doing. I mean, there's no stigma behind them yet. It's a fresh company. It's a fresh start. People are willing to give it a try to watch. It doesn't really insult your intelligence like the way WWE does. Like, I'm just going to get back to Extreme Rules for just a quick second. Like, there was a lot of like non-finishes. Like, even the swamp fight. Like, there was no real clear-cut winner. You just kind of saw the Fiend come out of the water at the end and it was like, oh, I guess he won.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Bailey stuff, like I said, being the referee, like, there was no finish there. Apollo and MVP, that seemed like a confusing mess.
Yeah, and the bar fight that didn't happen.
Bar fight that didn't happen.
It just didn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. I don't blame them for dropping WWE, and honestly, the way ratings are, I wouldn't be surprised if USA starts to... If Bonnie Hammer calls up Vince and is like, hey, pal, get your act together. I know we're in a pandemic, but get it together. I want ratings or resignations.
Well, then they would get Bruce Pritchard's resignation, right? Just line the next guy up.
Yeah.
What a stooge he is.
There was a story, don't know, I can't remember the actual full story, but it was on Wrestle Talk, so take it for what it's worth. I didn't actually click on the full story, but the headline was that apparently Fox and USA are getting very frustrated with WWE. So
probably more so Fox, because they paid $1 billion for SmackDown.
Well, yeah. They've got.
They paid a hell of a lot as well, didn't they?
Not $1 billion, I can tell you that.
Well, I'm sure it wasn't insignificant money.
This is probably happening over here as well with BT Sport. They can't be exactly happy with what they've bought. They literally took over a little bit before Fox did.
Yeah.
They've pretty much got nothing for their money. So, yeah, something's gonna have to change soon.
I agree.
So I've been thinking that for 15 years. I definitely remember the contract negotiations the time before this one. I can't remember, was it 3-5 years ago? Just little way back. I thought surely, because I know WWE wanted to pretend that there was lots of other networks interested to put the pressure on USA to pay more, and no one else was interested, so USA paid like a bit more than they were before, but it wasn't that much. I figured next time around, 2019, A can of whoop ass over there somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know.
I figured next time around, 2019, there's no way they're going to get good. Like, the ratings are going to keep going down. Everything falls apart in 2019. No, they get $1 billion. They get over 5 years, like 5 billion or whatever the deal is. Saudi Arabia is giving them money. They're fine. Even though all of their contracts in other countries are breaking down, the ratings are going down, even in the key demos.
Yeah.
Pay-per-views obviously aren't a thing anymore. I can't imagine merchandise is doing that great. The game sucks.
God,
I don't know
yeah.
where the money is all coming from this one place, and they're happy with it. But next time around, I don't want to fall into this trap again, but I can't see it being a good deal.
I mean, granted, you kind of have to put some of the blame on the pandemic because nobody expected to be in the situation that we're currently in.
You say that though, but
For the live crowd, but it's also a captive audience now, right? With people stuck in and no sport. How could they have gone down?
I mean,
The argument before was always like putting SmackDown on Tuesday or Thursday was fine because Friday is death. Everyone goes out on Friday.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, now no one goes out on Friday, and the ratings are still nothing.
Well, I mean, for the most part, for the first couple of shows, they kept replaying like old matches and whatnot, like from Elimination Chamber and things like that.
Try and pretend that there wasn't no one in the crowd. It was as little new stuff as possible.
Because they thought maybe this thing would blow over in like a month or something, and we'd be back to normal. Instead, you know, I mean, right then and there, I mean, that probably didn't help matters. Like just replaying old content. And then after that, when you had to come up with like some new stuff as this played on, you just get like nothing matches for like, 20, 30 minutes that just go like 2 segments that's unnecessarily long. Like it just seemed like it was mainly like Zelina Vega's stable versus like somebody random or some tag team like that. A lot of weeks it was Street Profits and the Viking Raiders just doing wacky, silly things out in public. That probably didn't help either. I feel like with the whole absence of fans, you'd think, and this backs up my theory that like modern wrestling hasn't adapted to a modern audience. And with the lack of a crowd, you'd think maybe, hey, let's try to tap into some of this viewership here. Like, granted, they said that they were trying to test out new ideas, maybe have like a virtual audience, which I think is a bad idea, but maybe have like an interactive poll or something like that, or bring back the Raw polls or something, or just be like, what do you think, or have the tweets scrolling along the bottom of the screen that everybody was complaining about years ago.
Except that time when I got on there.
Yeah.
I loved it on that night.
They had all these staples of like social media and whatnot years ago, and then they've just abandoned it instead of picking back up on it. And I think that kind of is detrimental a little bit. And there's a shakeup in creative, dumping Paul Heyman for Bruce Pritchard. That's highly unnecessary probably, but also at the same time, at the end of the day, you're still answering to Vince, and he's the main culprit. Like, until he's out of the picture, I don't think WWE's going to be changing anytime soon. So, and reportedly, that was the other thing, is reportedly they had like a different setup for the eye for an eye match, and then when they filmed the finish, he was too grossed out by it, so they went with what we saw on TV instead, with the little prosthetic.
Really?
Yeah.
What was the gross version?
I don't recall. I don't know if it was ever mentioned. It was just something. It was reportedly he wasn't like. It was too disgusting for Vince.
Well, it wasn't that long ago. He said he wasn't going to do blood and guts, right?
Yeah.
So having someone's eye come out is, well,
no blood and guts, but prosthetics.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, when you book matches like that as well, it doesn't help either. Nobody wants to see somebody's eye dangling out of their head.
Yeah.
No. I kind of do just out of curiosity, but more because I want to know how they're gonna do it than actually wanting to see a guy's eye come out.
Yeah.
That's like the ultimate of booking yourself into a corner. This isn't like undefeated Ryback going into Hell in a Cell with CM Punk. This is like having Brad Maddox do the crooked ref thing. This is more like, I mean, this is that taken to the extreme. Someone's eye has to come out. What are you gonna do now? So, the last time, when would you say the last time the ratings significantly increased was?
Like a long-term increase, or just like a bump?
Well, just like, well, yeah, more than like 1 or 2 weeks. Like I'm saying, like a significant, a prolonged period where interest was going up, not down.
I would say, oh man, maybe when The Rock was doing stuff to get back into WrestleMania to fight against Cena, maybe.
Yeah,
even
that wasn't very long term.
No.
That was a short term bump. I think you have to go back to the late 90s.
It's possible, yeah.
And who was writing then? Bro.
No.
Bro.
No.
You know who was writing until 99?
No. Come on.
Bro.
No, we're not going we're not bringing back Vince Russo. No.
It's true though. Like I'm not condoning bringing back Vince Russo, but it is true that he is the last guy that made any significant improvement to the rating situation.
Well,
for all his faults.
I'll say this. I think, if anything, Russo was like the one guy to try to bring the modern pop culture relevant stuff into wrestling for its time. It wasn't good. Let me be clear. It was pretty bad, but it was the closest to being relevant to like pop culture for its time.
He benefited greatly from having the talent that he had, for sure. Like you said, like The Rock was around and Austin and Vince was great back then. So it's almost hard to fail when you've got such great talent, which we don't have now. But still, I listen to this guy fairly regularly talking about like what's wrong and what he thinks is. He's the only guy that seems to talk about improving the ratings. AEW say they're fine. The network's happy with 500,000, and WWE, they seem fine with the ratings. Vince Russo's the only guy that I hear on a regular basis saying, why are we not trying to appeal to more people here?
That is true. I can't believe I'm saying that, but yeah, that does seem to be the case. Because like on Wednesday nights, it's just pretty much it's the battle of the lesser of two evils.
Yeah,
like everybody's trying to strive for the demo, if you will, lately.
The demo, yeah.
And that's a very astute point. Like nobody's looking at the bigger picture here, which is just how they can attract more people, rather than settling for the common status quo.
Well, at the start of the show today, you said that AEW like trounced NXT by 100,000, right?
Yeah, something like that. Let me
remember, like when wrestling was actually hot, trouncing was millions, not 100,000. That was considered like the same. That was a tie.
Yeah, no, I agree.
We're like they're fighting over scraps now, and I don't know. I don't see why no one seems to be more worried about it. Finding all the excuses as to that's not how people watch TV anymore, or social media is great, everyone watches on YouTube instead, or look at the key demo instead of the number overall. Even that.
Yeah.
Numbers aren't the same anymore. That's Dynamite Dave's favorite one, is that you can't compare ratings back then to ratings today because they're just not the same. I disagree. Numbers are numbers.
Yeah.
Still,
a lot more people were watching back then as opposed to now.
Exactly. And even if you're not getting like 8s and 7s and whatever, you could still get. Remember when Raw used to get 3?
Yeah.
We said that was bad.
Yeah, 845,000 for Dynamite this week. 615,000 for NXT. So about 230,000. Just to correct myself from the top of the show.
Still, there's a combined audience of somewhere 1.4, 1.5.
Yeah.
Which isn't far off what the Raw and SmackDown audience is. There's a pool of people who are watching. And surely there's something we could be doing to attract other people to kind of make wrestling cool again. And I don't think that 60-year-old Vince Russo was the answer.
No.
But at least his mindset of let's expand. Let's not just keep what we've got, but maybe do something that might increase interest.
Yeah, no, I agree. I absolutely agree with that. It's just to expand and try to tap into like either not a new demographic, but like a newer audience or something like that. But it's hard to probably connect with somebody outside of the world of wrestling to try to attract them to watch week in, week out, you know? So I don't know what the actual solution is, and also with the whole pandemic, you really have to think outside the box. This goes back to day one of the pandemic when I said that WWE's choice to not acknowledge it on TV is probably not the right move, whereas AEW's transparency has really helped them out. So,
but as Chuck said, is that really an issue? Is that really affecting people not watching it?
I mean,
to me, it's like the
fact that WWE aren't mentioning there's a pandemic. Is that turning people off? I don't think so.
Not specifically. To me, it kind of falls into the same category as like the words. All of their favorite words.
Yeah.
Like Brian Alvarez called it like the reverse thesaurus. Where in the thesaurus you have a word and you can find a load of new words that are all the same thing. They take all of the potential words and condense it down to the one that you're allowed to use. It's that kind of thing where it's just things don't sound right, and over time it wears on you, and you just don't really want to watch this thing that doesn't. Something just feels horrible about it. I think that's kind of the same deal with the thing. Why aren't you mentioning this? I might not even be thinking you should be mentioning it, but the fact that you're not just feels disingenuous somehow.
Yeah.
And it's there's just no incentive to carry on with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. I was just checking some other stuff at the moment. Yeah, no, I don't think it's specifically the exact reason, but I do think that just downplaying it to, for a while there's nobody at ringside, where AEW was just like, all right, let's have our talent ringside. It's probably not the safest decision, but at least it beats nothing, So let's have the talent ringside, socially distant, make some noise, yada, yada, yada. Whereas for a while, WWE just had nobody, and then decided, all right, let's steal AEW's idea and then add plexiglass to it. So I don't know. It just seemed like I don't know. It just I think it's just little things like that can really add up, and just maybe turn people off.
Yeah.
I don't know. So
yeah, I would, if I could make some changes, I would try and make everything feel a bit more organic and have some voices that sound like actual people.
Yeah.
I like Tom Phillips. He seems competent, but he's also, he's basically Todd Grisham, and every other guy that's been in that role.
They're all the same.
They're all exactly the same, right? And they're all trying to be Michael Cole. So it's
Cole. It's teaching them all, isn't it? So.
Yeah. And I guess you could say it's the same in the Performance Center. They all learn the same way. No one really stands out as being any different. But that's, I think, what people liked about Jim Ross, right? He had an accent. He had some weird catchphrases, and he had some passion. There's no one else sounds like JR. Can't we have someone a bit more like that?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Yeah.
There was something about I think it was I don't know if it was an investor call or some conference call with Stephanie McMahon where she reportedly said something that they are looking at possibly going with a virtual ceiling because the ceiling fans don't look good.
A virtual ceiling.
Yes, yeah, here it is.
I mean, they've always had that, but it was always called a glass ceiling before.
That's pretty funny. I like that. Here, let me cut to Twitter. This is from Sean Ross Sapp on the 22nd, which was like a few days ago. Yeah, Stephanie McMahon says they've added a virtual ceiling at the Performance Center because the fans haven't looked good. And then somebody replied, just do the weird effect that they've been doing for Shinsuke's entrance, which even that doesn't look that great. Yeah. I mean, that's something, but like, come on.
When we first did that, I thought that was kind of cool, but yeah. Yeah. See, God. If you think a ceiling fan is your biggest problem,
yeah,
then there's something wrong with your company.
Yeah, thank you. The fact that that's the issue that they're looking at is just...
Yeah.
It kind of confirms that they just need to adapt to a modern mentality here of how to book a show and get with the times. As opposed to, let's just have a CGI ceiling.
I mean, I've not seen one person complain that there's a ceiling. In fact, I think I saw someone... I think there's a parody account there of someone set up an account for the fan.
God.
So people think it's funny.
Yeah.
It's not an issue with the program.
Yeah, all the old timers used to talk about fans, packed houses, fans hanging from the rafters. Well, now we've still got that. It's great. Yeah, that's not where you need to be looking to make changes. The fan was not the problem. The fan is not the issue.
And if I watch Raw next week and that fan's not there, I'm going to start a protest.
You're not riot. You start a peaceful protest.
Peaceful protest. There you go.
It's 2020.
Bang on the plexiglass.
Oh, don't. Oh, Jesus. That's my new pet hate.
I thought it was a kind of cool effect once when everyone was angry at Seth Rollins.
It's good once, but
yeah, I can imagine it becoming a thing, and
it really got me when I haven't really noticed it on WWE on the main shows yet. It really got me during that Keith Lee match on NXT the other week.
Oh, wow.
The Keith Lee Adam Cole match.
Were they doing it then as well?
It was just constant throughout the whole match. And you could tell it was literally someone that said to them, you need to make as much noise as possible. Don't get me wrong, I get what they're doing, and you've got to kind of admire them for trying something.
Yeah.
Just not that.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, just going back to the whole, like, the way WWE sunk its teeth in the whole social media back in, like, 2011, 2012, 2013. And now when a pandemic has kind of deserted them away from the fans, something that they heavily rely on, they haven't even considered just coming up with, like I said, either, polls, like the Raw poll for the stipulation of the match, even if it is, like, all the same sort of thing, like, street fight, no holds barred, extreme rules, it's like the same it's something, again, the tweet scroller, things like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
The fact that they haven't gone to that yet is is very telling, like I said. Yeah, let's see here. Anything? Oh, another thing this week I saw was, what was it? Adam Cole on the Pat McAfee show, and Pat was like ragging on his height, and
I'm seeing this.
Adam Cole was like, "Fuck you! I can't believe it." Out of all the stuff that we just listed, with what WWE's kind of doing wrong right now, does anybody really want to see Pat McAfee versus Adam Cole at whatever, like NXT Takeover 30? Probably.
No, but
Okay, good.
but
Next subject. No, I'm just kidding.
no, I don't want to see Pat McAfee anywhere near the WWE, to be quite honest with you. But if that was a work, which I think it probably was,
Yeah,
it was brilliant. And it's probably the best thing they've done for quite a while.
I don't think everything.
Because it seemed real.
Yeah, but like that's the thing. Not everything needs to be a work. You know. Like
No, but if they're doing it to set something up, then that is a work.
I mean, they get people talking, so that is something for sure. But like, I don't know. Again, I don't.
I mean,
see
if
the
it was real and they generally hate each other, then fair enough.
Yeah.
More power to them. Do it again. But
yeah.
I don't know. I suppose it's as you say, it's modern day wrestling now. Everything has that question of, what is that real? Is it? So I don't know. I thought it was good, and if it wasn't real, then great.
I don't know. And again, the interest of for a McAfee Cole match is very low with me. It's not something I'm willing to throw $10 at to see happen live on the WWE Network, exclusively on wherever you get the internet from.
See, normally I'd agree with you, but the alternatives right now, go for it. Might as well.
Maybe. Anything else? We've almost filled an hour.
There's got to be something in there. I've just seen that Vince has had some biopsies done and doesn't have cancer, so that's something.
That's good.
That's good news.
I didn't even know there was a fear. But that's the thing.
Slammiversary.
Did I see that happened? Yeah.
Yeah. Slammiversary was a pretty good show from what I saw. Apparently Rich Swann is now I was gonna say all in on Impact, but I don't think Impact has like a catchphrase like that. He's there. Heath Slater made an appearance.
I thought Swan was already with Impact.
Yeah.
Or I just made that up.
Okay. Maybe. I don't know. There's also EC3 made an appearance at the end, or like on a video package, and Eric Young coming back and trying to go for the Impact World Championship in a Fatal 5-Way.
All right.
It was nice to see some of the nostalgia. Crazy that Ken Shamrock is still in phenomenal shape at whatever age he's at. And, I mean, granted, there was a couple moments where he looked a little bit lost and not sure what to do, but, like, he still can go, apparently. Yeah, I don't know. It kind of made me miss some of the days where I would watch Impact week to week. I don't think I would get back into it right now, but, you know, Slammiversary was pretty good. I guess we could talk a little bit about Dynamite here and there, if any of you've seen it.
I haven't.
Okay, well, never mind.
No, Chuck might have.
I did.
Oh, okay.
I'm just like desperately searching now for the story about Vince McMahon's no cancer biopsy? I can't see anywhere. I swear I saw it earlier. And now I've just made up a good news story. This is.
I swear,
Where it comes from, I guess.
if you somehow get our show on the map by making up a story of Vince McMahon,
Well, then I just have to start writing a newsletter, right?
Yeah.
I don't know where that came from.
Did you just make it up? Like what?
I definitely saw it somewhere, but like, I don't know. Maybe it wasn't Vince. It was just someone else, or I definitely saw it. There it is. McMahon's biopsy showed negative cancerous and precancerous growths. Excellent.
Do you want to cite who that article's from?
Because it was from Reddit Century Club, not Squared Circle.
Oh my god.
So it says Mr. McMahon.
Oh my god.
But I don't know who their Mr. McMahon is. I just assumed when I read Mr. McMahon that that's.
Well,
no, it's just a guy. It's just a guy.
First off, you're getting your news sources from Reddit.
Well, I mean, I assumed it was linked from the Observer or something, but it turns out no, it's just a username of a guy. God. But they called himself Mr. McMahon. What am I supposed to think?
They got you. That's
anyway,
what you're supposed to think.
It says Mr. McMahon. It's on all.
Oh.
So anyway, it's still good news. It's just not the guy that we were thinking.
Yeah.
Oh well. Well done him anyway.
Yeah.
A lot of people were saying Dynamite this week was like the best one during the pandemic era. I don't entirely agree, but I do think it was pretty good. Any thoughts?
What happened? Sammy Guevara came back. I remember that.
That was at the end, yeah. Eddie Kingston for the TNT
Eddie Kingston, yeah.
Yeah. Which, honestly, I would watch an eye for an eye match between Kingston and Arn Anderson more than whatever the hell WWE hyped up. So, that's just me.
Yeah.
That's just me. I think he kind of did a hell of a job selling me on that. Kind of wanted him to win it. Apparently he's still not signed. They haven't given him a deal or anything like that, last I've heard, which is crazy to me.
I'm sure they will. Yeah.
A lot of people were saying sign Eddie Kingston, hashtag sign Eddie Kingston, and I don't blame him. And then he had Griff Garrison right afterwards trying to make a name for himself going up against MJF. And
I suggest he actually makes a new name for himself. I'm not sold on Griff Garrison.
I mean, yeah, whatever.
He actually did look like Big Jungle Boy, though.
Yeah.
Quite like that.
Yeah.
MJF line called him Jungle Man.
And then what I thought was kind of like a match of the night, which was, I think, the tag team of the Young Bucks versus Butcher and Blade in a Falls Count Anywhere match, where they started off in the kitchen of Daly's place with Butcher and Blade chopping up meat. And then these guys have the audacity to wash their hands before, grappling, which, I mean, if that's not, like, the most face thing to do, I don't know what is. And then the Bucks go ahead and waste the perfectly good meat that they're chopping
throwing
up.
meat at them.
Yeah. Like, who's the actual heels here?
Shades of Grey, man. Face and heel is so passé.
There was also, like... There was like a drink sign that said something like how a mason jar is like $20, premium beer is like $12. There was also in the production truck a sign that said Mud Show on it tonight, which I immediately thought of Jim Cornette, or is it just a nod to him?
It probably was.
More than likely.
Which of all the references to Jim Cornette they could have done, they took it easy on him.
Yeah. Let's see here. Oh yeah, Lance Archer showed up and he was just putting people through the roof.
That was awesome. That was such a great spot,
was.
throwing the guy through the roof
Yeah.
and then into the
garbage can.
Tampa or whatever. Yeah.
He's great. I can't believe WWE missed the ball with him.
Yeah.
The women's match I was not happy with. It was
Ivelisse?
Ivelisse versus Diamante.
Yeah, I was happy to see her because
Yeah.
she's always been good and has never really made it anywhere.
Yeah, well,
not anywhere big.
She has a shit opinion on people with depression, which kind of soured me on her. I was like, oh, really? Come on. But you're right. And then they had like a promo, an inset promo of a double feature with Big Swole talking to Britt Baker, which I thought was very WWE-esque in not a good way. It was very... It drove up memories of the WWE before the whole women's revolution thing took off. You know?
Yeah. I was fine with it. I think she stumbled at one point and they cut it off really quickly at the end.
Yeah.
But it's fine. It's just a thing.
I don't know. I'm not exactly the keen on that. And the match itself was alright. Diamante got the win, and then they quickly went to commercial, which I was like, I don't know. I kind of want to see more interaction there at the end. Real quick, here's the screen grab of the Mud Show sign in the production truck before whichever buck this is got sent into it. Yeah, that happened. Main event, yeah, Sammy Guevara showed up, returning off of a suspension. Don't think they're going to be calling him the sex god anytime soon. I don't think. That's probably why they shifted.
I still don't know how I feel about that whole thing.
Yeah, it's weird.
It seems so harsh to punish a guy that wasn't even... Well, I mean, the company didn't even exist. He wasn't employed by them 4 years ago because they weren't even a thing. He was a 22-year-old trying to be an edgelord. He said something dumb. Does he really need to lose like however many months' pay and
30 days?
Is it 30? Yeah, 30 days. That's a lot of money.
I think it's just he had to. An example had to be set.
That's a big example, man.
Yeah.
If he had done it like now, then maybe.
God.
Right. But 4 years ago, and he didn't do anything bad. And like it came out at the same time as like all of these stories about people actually doing some really shady stuff.
Yeah.
You've got one guy saying something stupid when he's, trying to be edgy, getting it wrong.
Yeah, I
don't know.
I definitely don't think the whole position within the company needs to be reevaluated. I don't agree with that angle.
No. Like, and the fact that he like immediately apologized for it, said something totally out of character, was really nice about it. Apparently talked to Sasha, they worked out whatever.
And they worked it
I'm
out.
sure she's
like
not
adults.
his biggest fan.
Yeah.
Like, but whatever. He did the right thing. And then still. Well, whatever.
They worked it out like adults, and they settled it, and then I don't think anything else should have happened. I mean, maybe if you wanted to fine him and just put his salary towards like a charity, that's fine. I'm okay with that. But
I think maybe if he wanted to do that as a gesture, then that's cool. If he then is like, they could suggest sensitivity training, he'll probably say, I've kind of learned my lesson, but all right, let's do the thing.
Yeah.
Kind of like when you get a speeding ticket and you have to go to driver's education.
Yeah.
I know what I did was wrong. If I can get out of paying the fine, I'll go. It seemed extreme, but I guess that's the world.
It's the world we live in.
It's the world we live in. It's a weird one.
Yeah.
Has anything new happened with all of that speaking out stuff? Because it seemed like that was a story from 3 weeks ago that just hasn't gone anywhere.
Last I heard was Joey Ryan put out like an hour-long video and just refuting all of the claims. Not sure if it's, if he has any of the, backing up stuff basically to prove his point or to prove his innocence.
There were so many stories. I'd be surprised if we had some kind of like actual evidence about all of them.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, I don't
Like
know.
his
It's
one
just
seems really bad. There's a lot of stuff. I don't know, it's just the whole cancel culture, stupid buzzword, but like that whole thing kind of rubs me the wrong way a little bit because especially how quickly it just disappeared this time. There was all like these really serious things for 5 days or whatever, and now it's just gone. Like we've ruined Joey Ryan's life. Awesome. Now what's next? Like where's the actual action to be taken from all of this? Is bar wrestling is shut down?
yeah.
And what else? What else has actually happened?
It's true. I mean, that's a fair point. Yeah, there hasn't
Do we
been
just
really
want to like
much. There hasn't
get
really
these
been.
stories out, throw some mud around, and then that's enough?
Yeah.
Or do we want to actually do something about it?
There's no. I haven't heard of any like legal repercussions or anything like that towards these
No.
people. That's a very accurate observation.
There was a slight bit of news on the WWE's involvement in that with the NXT UK.
Yeah, there was a lot of them from NXT.
Apparently, there's been nothing official from WWE, which kind of obvious.
Yeah.
But Trent Seven, Tyler Bate, and Joe Coffey have all been taken off the website.
Oof.
Oh man, those are big names too.
Yeah. And I know there was allegations against Tyler Bate. I don't know about the other two.
Ooh.
So that they're kind of their future's being questioned.
Yeah.
Oh man, Tyler Bate was supposed to be the guy as well.
Yeah.
He was, yeah. And apparently, in slightly more upbeat news,
Cool, thanks.
they've trademarked the NXT. It's a trademark for the NXT UK Heritage Cup.
Okay.
So some sort of tournament. Sounds like it might be in the future.
So they're not just scrapping the NXT UK thing.
Yeah, apparently that was the rumour. A couple of weeks ago, there was when all this speaking out thing came about.
Seemed like a good idea for a little while.
It did.
If the half their roster is being shamed, then just maybe we should just pretend that this isn't a thing anymore.
Yeah, that was the rumour. They were just going to pull the plug, but it seems that right now it seems they might actually be making some plans to get it back up and running. Which, fingers crossed, if other things go according to plan with the virus and what have you. I think they're talking we might be able to have mass gatherings in October.
In October, that's
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, they're doing. I know we're getting slightly off topic now, but they're doing a pilot event next week. I think the World Snooker Championships. They're going to be letting some fans in. There's a horse racing event. They're going to be letting some in. And a cricket game to see how it can be done, socially distancing and all that. Yeah. So yeah, that's happening then next week. Well, they said early August, so it pretty much is next week, isn't it?
Yeah. We're about was that 7 days?
Yeah.
7 days away from, so literally a week. Next week will be on the 1st.
Yeah, Saturday 1st.
Oh.
And then, because according to the government, if these test events go according to plan, they're going to do a few more, and then they'll lift the restrictions in October.
When you say lift the restrictions, you mean go back to completely normal?
Well, he said it'll be restricted entry in October.
So reduced numbers.
Yeah, but then in the same sort of breath, they said that they're looking at reviewing all restrictions by November. So.
Well, if by that they actually just mean reviewing, then that's fine, I guess.
Well, I mean, Boris Johnson, he's not exactly the...
He's not exactly the clearest.
Yeah.
You can't say something without also kind of counterbalancing it with something completely opposite.
What's the situation? I've only seen bits, but what's the situation over there, Smith? I've seen bits about Florida. Apparently it's quite bad there.
Yeah. God, it's a fucking cesspool, like I said, down there. It's just people ruining it for everybody, pretty much. They just don't want to wear a mask, yada, yada, yada. Because they think it's, they think their freedom's more important than, the fact that you're trying to save your own life, let alone somebody else's. Things like that.
I don't know why I'm not more outraged by that. I don't know. I kind of get it. I can see that it's dumb, but I still kind of get it.
Like at the end of the day, it's just science outweighs whatever it is that you're feeling, and you should really kind of look out after yourself, let alone somebody vulnerable to this disease, or this virus, I should say, not a disease.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about it. I can't really justify it because I still think that smoking is dumb.
Yeah,
but I don't think it should be banned.
In most places, it's heavily restricted. Like you
can't do it inside.
In like a private establishment and whatnot. But
But then, and then I'm kind of like torn on vaccines in general. Anti-vaxxers are without a doubt some of the stupidest people that there are. But I also don't think they should be mandatory. It should just be a choice that we all agree to make. Because we're not stupid.
Yeah.
But you should also have the right to be stupid. So I don't know. I don't know. There's something about the mask thing that I can't work out.
I don't know. I think the mask thing, to me, I think it's... Fingers crossed, it's a temporary measure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whether or not it's here for 2, 3, 4 months, whatever, it's going to be temporary. So there's going to be at some point where they're going to go, okay, you don't need them anymore.
Here's my conspiracy.
The other thing is, like, what gets me is, like, everybody saying, oh, if just people would wear masks for, like, 6 weeks, this thing would be under control. And I'm like, I don't know about that. I don't...
Yeah.
I don't... Yeah, there's more to it. I mean, it would help.
It would help. It would help for sure. It would definitely drive the numbers down for sure. I definitely agree with that. However, I just at the end of the day, the virus doesn't care. It doesn't care if you're predisposed of high case, medium case, low case, a child, an adult. It doesn't matter. It's here. It's gonna wreak havoc until there's a vaccine made or something can squash it. And I've heard like apparently Lysol has like a disinfectant that can like take it out. Which, if that's the case, why isn't it being mass produced and just being distributed on the streets? All across America like they did over, I think in South Korea or China over there.
Remember when Triple H had a spray at the Performance Center that killed it for 90 days or whatever?
Yeah.
That was the thing he said. That turned out not to be true. Here's my conspiracy, and I'm pretty sure this is watertight. Right?
No, don't get us kicked. No, come on, don't get us kicked off YouTube. Come on.
This is definitely 100% true.
No.
Apparently, if you even mention COVID, your video gets tagged with a COVID tag.
Oh, and you get the little disclaimer thing at the bottom if you need more information. Yeah.
We've done it now, so you might as well.
yeah. Let's go all in. Right. So at the start of the virus, I don't know if you remember this, but they tried to tell us that masks didn't work, and their reasoning for this is because the health workers needed them. So everyone else buying them and hoarding them like toilet rolls was a bad idea because people needed them more. Then it turns out they do work and everyone should have them. And when it got really bad, all of the factories were making ventilators and masks. Well, now the numbers have come down. We've got all of these masks just hanging around. What do you do with all of these masks? We're never going to get through all these masks. Let's tell everyone that they need to wear masks at all times, even though the numbers are better than they've ever been.
I don't know about it.
Mind blown.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, what you
Right?
can do
It's
is...
because there's so many masks.
No. Oh, my God. You can give...
And now they're going to say that you have to change your mask every, 30 minutes or something, so you go through more.
That, or you just
Sparks the economy.
Oh, God. That, or you just give them out to people that are like, I don't have a mask. I don't want to enter your establishment. You know, like Walmart
I do
or
think
all
that.
these other places.
I do think that, especially for the bigger supermarkets and stuff.
Yeah.
If you're going to make me wear a mask, at least provide one.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I definitely think if you're going to have a mandate, you should definitely supply people with a mask of some kind.
Right.
If they don't have one. Yeah, I mean, at the start of the whole pandemic thing, I don't think they knew exactly what this virus was capable of or how it worked. So.
Oh no, definitely not.
I think
there's some legit, actual conspiracies about China knowing and not telling anyone.
Yeah, probably.
Can't
confirm
or deny, but that is a thing that's out there, and it seems.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It seems scary.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. You can make a conspiracy out of anything, I feel. But that one, I mean, maybe it has water, maybe it doesn't. I can't really.
I think
the guidelines of YouTube, I can't confirm or deny.
It seems a bit weird to me that this thing is supposedly happened in Wuhan, where there's a lab center or whatever the hell it is that makes these things.
Oh my God.
Stores these things.
It's level 4 security
in
the world. Yeah, and it just so happens that they were working on it.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there is some sort of natural occurrence, but it just seems a bit odd that this has all happened, and the speed it's happened as well. If what we're getting told is true, and it's literally happened in 7 months, then
well, I mean, it went worldwide ages ago, didn't it? It was basically 3 months. It was March or whatever. It was
March, yeah.
It became a
big
deal.
But the first initial reports, from so we're told, started coming in early January from Wuhan.
Yeah.
So,
December.
That's what I mean. I mean, this whole thing has gone from start to now within 7 months. And then it said start to finish there, but maybe not yet.
Start to versus where we are.
Sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say my concern is once a vaccine is developed, and this is probably fear mongering and whatnot because of the whole what I'm about to put out there. I'm afraid it's gonna be untested, so you don't know what the side effects are, and you're just gonna have basically the outbreak that what was the Will Smith movie?
I Am Legend.
That's the one, yeah. Yeah. Something like that.
They're not going to release it before it's tested. That's why it's taken so long. They've already developed. There's about 3 of them that could work right now.
Yeah.
But we're not getting them for a long time.
I don't know about that. I think we'll have one by the end of the year.
By the end of the year?
Yeah. Apparently, the one that was made the news this week, the one that they're working on in Oxford, I think it is. That's quite advanced in the way it's in the production. From what I've read, the problem they've actually got now is that not enough people are getting it. Not enough people are actually getting the virus for them to test it on.
Weird.
We're actually doing that well in keeping the virus numbers down.
And yet now we need to wear masks. Why? Because there's too many. There's too many masks. Got to use them all up.
But yeah, apparently this virus, the vaccine, if they're given the green light to go, then they could pretty much go get it out there very quickly.
Well, I know Boris said he bought 100 million vaccines.
Yeah.
Right? He's going all in on this thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
There's only 65 million of us here. He wants spares.
Yeah, I don't know.
we
Anyway,
seem to be doing quite well at the minute. So I don't know. You lot over there, you messing it up. Everyone,
yeah,
pack in.
Even then, it's only certain areas over there, right? Because I mean, the US is pretty big.
it is.
It's
Did
I
I
know
see?
New York's not doing
Yeah.
great, Florida, and is it like was it no Nevada's doing it right? Well, it's Arizona, I think, that's doing pretty bad.
Arizona, yeah.
Aren't there a load of places that are actually doing kind of all right?
I think my state's like one of the lowest ones. Not to pat myself on the back or anything like that. But I think it's just because there's nobody fucking here.
Right. That does seem to be a theme. Where there's lots of people, there's lots of cases.
Yeah, imagine that.
Weird that.
Isn't New York coming out the other side now, though? I think I've seen their numbers are not too bad right now.
Yeah,
it was terrible.
I think they're starting to go down a little bit. Arizona, California, Florida. I think Washington was one of those heavily impacted states. I don't know if they're going down or not, but yeah,
I would imagine so. Seattle, there was a lot of protesting going on in Seattle.
Oh, even before this protest, yeah.
Yeah.
You say that though about the protest. Did you see the know when we had the protest ourselves?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The Black Lives protests, and then I think it was about a week or so after that. There was thousands on Bournemouth Beach.
Yeah, that was hilarious watching that. What I think
a week or so after that, there was the Liverpool thing with the title.
Oh yeah.
We got a load of stick for doing that. But then, if someone actually looked at the numbers from when all this happened, and there's been no increase in cases in those areas from when that happened. Because you'd be seeing that now, because the numbers are about 2 weeks behind what's actually happening.
Yeah.
So you'd see the if there was going to be an increase from those protests, you would be seeing that probably last week. I think it was in these numbers.
So
there was a slight spike, I think, in some parts, but nowhere near what they were expecting.
So what does that mean then? Either the virus is a Liverpool fan and is very pro Black Lives Matter and has just decided to stay away, or it's people just don't really have it. It's just not really out there very much.
Well, that's the thing. Do you reckon now?
I don't know.
They do think that it's the transmission is very, very low at the minute.
Yeah.
It's a weird virus, I'll say that.
Well, apparently sunlight kills it pretty effectively, right?
No.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I've heard. UV rays actually do kill it pretty
well.
So maybe if you are on Bournemouth Beach because of the sun, I wouldn't want to be there because who likes a crowded beach? Well, exactly. Maybe that's actually not such a bad place to be.
I mean, they said pretty much since day one that if you're going to be in a crowd, it's best to be outside.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, obviously.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just they were talking about that on the radio a couple of weeks ago, and they were saying, last week actually, about the protests and the big, they were obviously worried that there was going to be a big spike in cases, and it just, there's been a slight spike, but not anywhere near what they were expecting it to be.
A lot of the protests here just had people with masks on, so I mean, there's also that as well.
Well, that was the other thing, yeah. They were saying a lot of the proper protests, they were actually done properly.
And the rioters, they were wearing masks anyway, for their own reasons.
God.
I did see one, you'll like this, Chuck. There was a joke I saw on Twitter that the virus was going after towns that had won the league. Because Blackburn's now apparently the hotspot. Leicester's being locked down. We'll be next.
Oh, Leicester's really bad, yeah.
Manchester.
Why the Southwest is doing so well.
All right, let's get out of here. I think it's just been 30 minutes of non-wrestling talk here at this point.
Oh, and it was the best 30 minutes.
Maybe.
What?
I don't know.
And you never know, if we do such a good job on this virus and we're allowed fans in our events again, WWE might move over here for a bit. They can't run events in America, so maybe they start doing them here.
Maybe you can get that WrestleMania finally.
Maybe.
Crown Jewel.
Oh god. the was it the Queen's crown jewel or whatever?
Yeah, the crown jewel, like the actual crown jewel.
Yeah.
The real ones that made the term.
Get the Queen to show up.
We'll be back next week, hopefully. If,
She's at risk. We don't want the Queen to show up.
Yeah, she's high risk.
How old she is now.
Oh, there's nothing stopping her. She's immortal. She's like Hogan.
You look at her wrong, she might fall over. We'll be back next week with, well, assumingly, if we're not thrown off the platform here or delisted, with all the. I don't think it was that big of a conspiracy theory or anything like that, but.
That's definitely true too.
No, you can't say that. You can't say that.
There's a lot of risk out there. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my god. Anyway,
we can go on to Twitch because they've got a sports category now.
That's true. Yeah. I don't know. We'll be back next week. Have a great one. If not, hopefully we'll have Beans here. He's been, I think, just absolutely knackered lately, so that's probably why he hasn't been on. But yeah, we'll hopefully have a show next week in some capacity or another. And thank you for joining us. See you then. Take care. Have a good one, and stay safe. Wear a mask. And good night.